Chapter 981, 981 The Strongest Pet. 981 The Strongest Pet. A moment later, the fallen angel prince of the demon kingdom was called up by ancient god Golden Bull. The fallen angel prince of the demon kingdom had previously been regarded by various countries as the strongest contestant of the totem country below the green dragon crown prince and the rubber tree totem. With two souls in one body, the fallen angel race, and the dark element, a series of advantages made it the closest to a mythical race. In fact, when the fallen angel Aldrich was just born, the Ronguine kingdom issued a must-kill order to it because of the phenomenon caused by its birth. At this moment, after such a monster was pulled onto the battlefield by the ancient god Golden Bull, it actually experienced the same inhumane torture as the dark elven prince just now. Wah, ah, 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 ah. In mid-air, the injured fallen angel prince flew in the sky. Dark light balls that filled the sky fell like a meteor shower towards ancient god Golden Bull. Boom! In the huge smoke rising, ancient god Golden Bull, who was currently in the form of a human, directly resisted the attack and arrived in front of the fallen angel with abnormal expressions. "Little guy, didn't you eat? Impossible! Incarnation, fusion!" In the sky, the fallen angel Aldrich was shocked. He felt that the Golden Bull ancient god that had been suppressed to the monarch level in front of him was even more terrifying than a totem-level opponent. A huge threat was born in its heart, making it quickly activate its strongest skill. Soul Incarnation. In the next moment, a fire demon, a frost demon, a thunder demon, and the soul embodiments of the three demons directly appeared beside the fallen angel, Aldrich. Then, it quickly became one with it. Fusion Evolution. Boom! The fallen angel Aldrich directly evolved from dark to dark, exhort, quas, and thunder. It spread its 8 pairs of wings and turned into an 8-winged fallen angel. At this moment, the power of different stats lingered on each pair of wings, looking especially strong. Seeing the skill of the fallen angel Aldrich, many factions were shocked. Even ancient god Golden Bull revealed a surprised expression. This was the soul incarnation that Xiyu was thinking about and wanted to replicate for Kai Tong. At this moment, it was used by Aldrich. Its aura was instantly no different from the totem level. The race was completely only a layer of paper away from the mythical race. It was extremely powerful. However, the skill is not bad, but you're too weak. Ancient god Golden Bull laughed. Under the shocked expression of the fallen angel that had completed its evolution, he slapped out with his palm. As for the fallen angel, it quickly flapped its 8 wings and collided with the destructive demon power. Boom! In the next moment, everyone saw that in the dust mist in the sky, accompanied by spatial tearing fluctuations, 2 figures were sent flying by the huge aftermath of the skill collision. One was from ancient god Golden Bull, and the other was from the fallen angel. Even ancient god Golden Bull didn't seem to be able to face the fallen angel's attack so easily. But soon, everyone realized that that didn't seem to be the case. The 2 figures that were forced back in midair, the ancient god Golden Bull, crossed its arms and made a defensive posture. There were only small scratches on its body, and a smile was on its face. With a boom, it landed on the ground, creating a huge pit. Its entire body still stood steadily on the ground. As for the fallen angel opposite, it was completely tragic. Its body no longer looked human, and it directly turned into a shockwave. Just like the dark elven prince just now, it completely fainted in the huge pit. "You're a little stronger than that guy just now," ancient god Golden Bull continued to move his body and said. "However, it's still not enough. Why don't all of you come up together?" As the fallen angel also lost, like the members of the Dark Knight Forest, on the Demon Kingdom's side, even the fallen angel's Demon King father was silent. It didn't expect the work he was so proud of to be so weak in front of a real god. These demigods asked themselves, if they suppressed to the monarch level, even if they used quasi-divine skills, they might not necessarily be able to firmly suppress the fallen angel Aldrich. Were real gods all so strange? No one replied. Be it the contestants of the 7 countries or the totem country, none of them replied when they saw the miserable state of the dark elven prince and the fallen angel. Moreover, they were afraid that ancient god Golden Bull would call out names next. What a joke! Even with the strength of an invincible overlord, it couldn't affect this monster. It was useless for them to go up. Although the Dark Elven Prince and the fallen angel didn't look dead, they were still half dead. No one wanted to carry out such a battle without any suspense. This god was even more ridiculous than the previous gods. Roar! This is real awesome. Of course, there were also people who were more excited from the standpoint of ancient god Golden Bull. In the Donghuang area, the ox-headed beastmaster beside Master Chu Jie and Miss Chu Ling was extremely excited. If he had this strength, even if he suppressed his realm, would he have to be beaten by that iron-eating beast every time? He patted its old friend excitedly. In the future, just like the West, let's believe in this ancient god Golden Bull. It's indeed strong. Master Chu Jie couldn't help but say. However, he looked at Shi Yu in the distance and kept feeling that things weren't that simple. I say, brother Yu, do you still want to defeat it? At this moment, Zhu Yun and the others looked at the war godlike ancient god Golden Bull with twitching expressions. It didn't even use a divine skill, and it even suppressed its strength. It's already like this. At that moment, Shi Yu was meditating and recuperating in the Donghuang area. However, his spirit had been paying attention to the battle from the beginning to the end. Shi Yu slowly opened his eyes and said, "Isn't it very normal? That fallen angel's strength isn't strong to begin with. How strong could it be if it was scared away by Buggy's bit of dragon might?" The Overlord level was still the Overlord level. Zhu Yun and the others? No one? Do you have to ask me to name names? At this moment, ancient god Golden Bull was rather speechless. Seeing that no one came up to fight him even if he didn't name names, he couldn't help but feel helpless. Let me do it. At this moment, in the Donghuang area, Shi Yu had the thought of finishing early and ending work early. He controlled his crowd control psychic power to float. Most importantly, in the beast-taming space, 11 was already rolling on the ground and couldn't hold back anymore. Divine Beast! It wanted to fight a Divine Beast. After adding points for so long, 11 felt that perhaps this awesome god could allow it to fight to its heart's content. It, who had yet to appear, really couldn't tolerate it for another second. Who? At this moment, as Shi Yu flew up and spoke to him, the ancient god Golden Bull looked at him. How long has it been? Have you rested well? Shi Yu said, Lord Divine Spirit, didn't you also fight 2 rounds just now? It's a little unfair for me to rest again. Who? Ancient god Golden Bull was stunned, but then he laughed and said, all right, you do it. Send all your pets to fight me to your heart's content. If it's you, I won't suppress my strength later. If you can last 5 minutes in my hands, you can name whatever reward or inheritance you want. How about that? At this moment, as Shi Yu appeared, no matter which faction he came from, they looked at the human beast tamer who had landed in front of ancient god Golden Bull. Sorry, however, just as everyone thought that Shi Yu was going to agree to the bet with ancient god Golden Bull, Shi Yu said, can I only send 1 pet to fight first? It has been looking forward to the battle for a long time, but unfortunately, it hasn't encountered a suitable opponent. If it loses, I'll send other pets to fight together. This is an agreement between a beast tamer and a pet. Who? At this moment, Shi Yu's words directly made everyone reveal incredulous expressions. What was Shi Yu saying? They wanted to only send 1 pet to fight? Was he crazy? The other party was a divine beast. The boar god, Shenming, Lai Shanjun, Holy Divine Deer, and many other gods completely didn't expect that after Shi Yu stood out, he would first say that he had only sent 1 pet to fight the ancient god Golden Bull. At this moment, they gradually understood the difference between the beast tamers of the totem countries and the beast tamers of the 7 countries. The beast tamers of the 7 countries had a huge advantage in the number of contracted pets. Shi Yu could completely use such a number advantage to use those abnormal pets to last 5 minutes in the hands of the ancient god Golden Bull. In the end, Shi Yu planned to send 1. What was he thinking? Was he planning to send that green dragon? Divine Source, what does he mean? The legendaress of the 7 countries looked at divine source legendary. Ha ha. Ancient god Golden Bull was stunned for a moment before saying indifferently, "Are you serious? But forget it. In that case, you can send one. I'll continue to suppress my strength to fight you. Is it that green dragon? Come on." At this moment, a huge purple summoning array appeared in front of Shiyu. The purple summoning array was filled with black and white lightning arcs. Seeing Shiyu's summoning array again, the various factions still had subtle feelings. In their respective factions, the dying Dark Elven Prince and the fallen angel looked at the battlefield with difficulty. He couldn't understand why a freak like Shiyu was still a level 6 beast tamer and wasn't even a legend. Was the title of world legend really going to be taken away by a level 6 beast tamer who wasn't even at the legendary level? Of course, at this moment, everyone was more concerned about Shiyu's summoning array. Lightning. From the fluctuations, it didn't look like the appearance of the green dragon at all. Not a green dragon? Or a ginseng baby? Who was it? Could it be Ji Mengzhu, Lin Xiuju, Lin Hongyan, the Gem Cat, Lu Qingyi, White Brook, and the other Dong Huang? Spectators looked in that direction. On the purple summoning array, under the lingering lightning, a bear cub about a meter tall appeared. It had black and white fur, and on its round face was a pair of big black circles and bright and shining eyes. Its black furry ears, big and short tail, and slightly plump body made it look silly and cute. However, the gaze in its eyes that shone like lightning told everyone not to underestimate its strength. Woo! 11 looked at ancient god Golden Bull with battle spirit in its eyes. Come on. God! This is? Ancient god Golden Bull completely didn't expect Shiyu to actually send a pet that had never appeared before. Its initial race is the Iron-Eating Beast. It's the first pet I contracted, my initial companion who has accompanied me until now. It's also the strongest battle power in my team at the moment. Therefore, Lord Divine Spirit, there's no need to suppress your strength. It's very strong. Chapter 982 Full Power. 982 Full Power. Inatella was silent again. Although it was only language, the words coming from Shiyu's mouth had an incomparable impact. Iron-Eating Beast. Initial pet. The strongest battle power in the team. Disbelief appeared on everyone's faces. What did he say? The Black Dragon Juggernaut, the Tyrant Dragon King, the Genesis Tree God, and the other totems had incredulous expressions. This black and white bear was his strongest battle power. What a joke! What was that green dragon and ginseng baby? Iron-Eating Beast, strongest battle power. At this moment, even Ji Mengzhu and the others were a little incredulous. At the moment the Overlord level green dragon that you had contracted above his level appeared, there was no doubt that the green dragon had already become Shiyu's representative pet. After all, even Emperor Wu had once said that if the 4 holy beasts evolved, they would crush the demon god Iron-Eating Beast. But now, in the face of a god, Shiyu stood on the battlefield and sent out the strongest pet he mentioned, the Iron-Eating Beast. Even stronger than that green dragon? Only Divine Source, President Lin, the Dragon Palace, and a few others who had seen the Chaos Panda understood the meaning of Shiyu's words. They didn't know which was stronger, the Chaos Panda or the Green Dragon. After all, they had never seen the 2 pets use their full strength, but Shiyu definitely knew. They couldn't help but stare at the arena. I see. Overlord level. Moreover, it's very strong. Upon hearing Shiyu's words, ancient god Golden Bull was also shocked. It took a closer look at this bear cub and quickly discovered that it was extraordinary. It actually contained power that was not inferior to that green dragon in its small body. It was completely not weaker than the invincible Overlord it had defeated just now. Unbelievable. Overlord level again? As a level 6 beast tamer, Shiyu contracted 2 overlords above his level. Upon hearing ancient god Golden Bull's words, the other spectators were also in disbelief. Even the beast tamers of the totem countries weren't so crazy. This guy was indeed a monster. This way, Shiyu's team's puzzle was perfect. Overlord level, Iron-Eating Beast, Green Dragon. Monarch Level, Ginseng Baby, Sword Spirit, Blue Sea Sprite, Mechanical Phantom Beast. A powerful configuration. But it's not enough. Its main stats are also metal. You guys, who are you looking down on? Ancient God Golden Bull's muscles increased exponentially, and his body reached nearly 5 meters. His body didn't look huge, especially compared to the little iron-eating beast in front of him. It looked at 11 with a burning gaze and said, "If you want me to erupt with stronger power, it depends on whether you have the ability." Boom! It still suppressed its monarch-level strength. It stepped on the ground, and golden light appeared all over its body. It attacked 11 in the form of the Metal Control Divine Body. The ground shattered. No one doubted the strength of the ancient God Golden Bull in this state. After all, the Dark Elf and Fallen Angel were examples. Its figure was about to descend in front of 11 in an extremely oppressive manner. The pupils of the Dark Elves and Fallen Angels who had just been beaten up constricted. But woo! In the blink of an eye, lightning seemed to shoot out of 11's eyes. Zzz. At first, its hands were filled with a large amount of electricity. Then, the electricity flowed through its entire body as if it was being controlled. Rip! Surrounded by the black and white electric current, 11's black and white hair shone. It looked fluffy, soft, and had a clear texture. One couldn't help but want to pet it. However, what was even more terrifying was its shocking power change in the state of the lightning armor. Bang! 11's feet stepped on the ground. Under the eruption of lightning, it immediately displayed a terrifying explosive power. Its figure flashed like lightning. During this process, countless gravel floated in the sky because of the lightning, as if they were dancing for the impact that was about to collide. Interesting! As Ancient God Golden Bull laughed, he threw a punch at 11. Similarly, 11 also threw a punch at Ancient God Golden Bull. The two attacks were about to collide. But in the next moment, the two attacks fixed the attacker and the attacker in the air due to invisible energy fluctuations. Because the energy fluctuations between the moves were too turbulent, before the bodies of the two parties collided, the powerful power fluctuations were the first to squeeze. Boom! The sky and ground trembled. A huge vortex seemed to have appeared in the sky, and cracks spread crazily on the ground as if it had encountered an earthquake. In midair, Ancient God Golden Bull's fist that was surrounded by golden light and 11's fist that was surrounded by lightning were still squeezing. It stunned the surrounding audience. It appeared. A creature that could fight against Ancient God Golden Bull appeared. Although it was an overlord fighting a monarch, it was also commendable. This Xiyu was indeed a monster. However, as a few seconds passed, everyone's expressions changed like Ancient God Golden Bull's. Sensing the increasingly surging power in 11's attack, Ancient God Golden Bull revealed a shocked expression. The others also suddenly heard a huge thunderstorm that resounded through the island. Their pupils constricted as they saw the power fluctuations on Ancient God Golden Bull's side shatter with a bang. Right on the heels of that, the little iron-eating beast's fist that seemed to have swept through a thunderstorm suddenly swallowed the Ancient God Golden Bull like a tsunami. Boom! Under the thunder, Ancient God Golden Bull's body was directly smashed towards like a flying meteor. Woo! In midair, 11 looked confused. It was very confused to see someone dare to challenge it while at a lower level. Boom! It slowly landed on the ground and looked at the small mountain that had collapsed after it sent Ancient God Golden Bull flying. It stretched its body and looked over again. A moment later, gravel fell to the ground one by one. Every landing sound hit the heart. At this moment, everyone was stunned. They completely didn't expect that under the collision, Ancient God Golden Bull would actually be sent flying. Although Ancient God Golden Bull had suppressed its level to a lower level, it was still a god. It had already easily crushed the Dark Elf and Fallen Angel above its level. How could it be sent flying by this iron-eating beast? Golden Bull, what are you doing? Seeing this, Lord Lai Shan and the others looked at the collapsed mountain in disbelief. Didn't listen to my advice. At this moment, as the two moves collided, Shi Yu only wanted to describe ancient god Golden Bull like this. Was it still treating 11 as his opponent just now? This move was the lightning armor state entered by using transcendent level superalloy, the power of dark lightning and light lightning. Although 11 was only in the weakest restrained state, it was still at the overlord level. The two opponents just now didn't have transcendent super skills. In addition, 11 was also a mythical race with a strong foundation. Ancient god Golden Bull was actually still using the monarch level to resist. It was simply suicidal. Ah! Boom! The small mountain collapsed, and ancient god Golden Bull, who came out, also looked at the creature opposite him in shock. It didn't expect that the other party could actually defeat him. This attack could be said to have stunned the Dark Elf, Fallen Angel, and the others. They didn't expect that the ancient god Golden Bull that was hanging them up was actually sent flying by Shi Yu's pet. Looks like I underestimated you guys. At this moment, ancient god Golden Bull didn't feel any affliction. He was only very surprised that the other party actually had the power to repel him. It couldn't help but be even more excited. I see. No wonder you made me go all out. So your strength is so extraordinary. Very good, ha 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 ha. Ancient god Golden Bull laughed. At the same time, its aura rose steadily. Boom! Under everyone's gaze, it directly recovered to its initial state and didn't plan to suppress its strength anymore. An earth-shattering aura and a divine aura directly made the island tremble. In the center of the terrifying energy vortex, ancient god Golden Bull revealed its violent eyes. Don't misunderstand. I unsealed my power because I want you to send out all your pets as soon as possible. It's rare for you to have so many powerful battle pets. It's still too boring to fight alone. Perhaps, if I let you understand the real difference, you'll understand. In order to prove its determination, ancient god Golden Bull's body increased further. Buzz! A dazzling golden light bloomed from its body. Boom! Under the golden light, accompanied by the roar of the great Tao laws, countless spatial fragments flew out and exploded from the void. They lined up beside ancient god Golden Bull and were extremely dazzling. In the center of everything, the aura of the ancient god Golden Bull had reached an extremely terrifying level. Although its body only increased to 10 meters tall, the power erupting from its physique seemed to be able to crush the void. Click, click, click! At this moment, the demigods in the alternate space looked at the collapsed spatial patterns around them in shock. They realized that not only had ancient god Golden Bull unsealed his battle power, but he had also erupted with his divine skill. Because the laws of the world were incomplete, Blue Planet couldn't withstand ancient god Golden Bull's divine skill at all. Therefore, the power it displayed at the moment could only be considered a quasi-divine skill. But even so, it caused a huge change in the entire Blue Planet space. The void collapsed, and the laws rumbled. A huge change was brewing, making the World Tree clone and many gods fall silent. They felt that this Golden Bull was so crazy for battle. Didn't it know that it would be even weaker after such a battle? In the collapse of space, the entire island was changing quickly. The ground and mountain began to sink. The surrounding waves raised a tsunami, and lightning appeared in the sky. The center of all the changes was the huge Golden Bull ancient god that had recovered its bull form and landed on all 4 feet. Its furnace-like eyes looked at Shi Yu and 11. As Shi Yu and 11's expressions changed, its divine might pressed down like a galaxy that covered the sky. At this moment, forget about creatures below the totem level, even some weaker totems trembled when they saw the terrifying might emitted by the ancient god Golden Bull and heard the deafening sound of laws. This is the real metal control divine body that has touched the laws of metal. It's the strongest batch of skills in this era. Seeing this, the gods sighed with emotion at the madness of the Golden Bull god. Boom! The terrifying divine might approached 11 and Shi Yu. Everyone could sense how much pressure they were under. No, the pupils of the Dark Elven Prince and the others constricted. Even if they weren't the ones fighting, a trace of psychological trauma appeared. It's difficult to imagine how strong these gods were at the peak of the mythical era. Under the gazes of many people, the boar god and the other gods looked at Shi Yu and the others. Just give in to this cow. It was still too difficult to rely on just one. It was better for everyone to attack together as soon as possible. Perhaps they could last a few minutes under the mentality of the Golden Bull, ancient god wanting entertainment. Chapter 983, 983 God Slaying, 1. 983 God Slaying, 1. Metal Law? It finally erupted with all its might? At the same time, Shi Yu and 11 took a deep breath. Metal laws should be relatively powerful origin laws. However, in terms of level, it should be below yin-yang. Woo! At this moment, 11 sensed the other party's terrifying aura and became rather serious. However, it was still extremely stubborn and unwilling to end up like this. The other teammates had already taken down the trial alone. When it came to it, no matter who the opponent was, it also wanted to take down a trial for Shi Yu alone. It wanted to prove to everyone that Shi Yu's words that 11 was Shi Yu's strongest pet were right. Even if the opponent was a god, it could. 11. At this moment, Shi Yu's thoughts were the same as 11's. He wanted to be in this posture and fight a god. He also firmly believed that 11, who he had carefully cultivated, wouldn't be weaker than a god of the same level. What are you still hesitating for? At this moment, the huge ancient god Golden Bull revealed a dissatisfied expression. Even so, were Shi Yu and the others still unwilling to send all their pets to fight him with all their might? You can't please me by being so willful. Don't you want the reward anymore? Its voice resounded throughout the world. At this moment, under the suppression of ancient god Golden Bull's huge divine might, Shi Yu and 11's tiny bodies seemed to be on the verge of collapse. However, to the surprise of many gods, even so, they didn't seem to be affected at all. It was as if the pressure of a god was only so. Of course. However, we will use our own methods to win. Not by pleasing others, even gods. In the divine might, Shi Yu's voice entered everyone's ears clearly. Shi Yu, 11, had a determined expression. Let's give it a try. It was just the law of metal suppressed by the world. From the current performance, it was indeed because ancient god Golden Bull had more experience and was more powerful than 11's yin-yang millstone. However, there was still Shi Yu. Beast tamers and pets were a whole. If he used the Taiji domain and the yin-yang millstone to form a dual divine skill, it might not be weaker than this metal-controlled divine body. They had a chance to heavily injure or even defeat ancient god Golden Bull. Boom! At that moment, 11's overlord will completely erupted. A valiant battle intent rose with will. Please don't underestimate us. Right now, it's not our full strength. Let's fight like this. Shi Yu was also infested by 11's battle intent. It was boring to please a god. In a battle, the premise was to defeat the opponent. Even if the opponent was a god, there had to be a mortal spirit who dared to face the might of a god. This was the domain that beast tamers pursued. What did you say? At this moment, facing Shi Yu's victory declaration, ancient god Golden Bull felt that it was unbelievable. However, before it could react much, with a boom, under the light, a terrifying deterrent erupted from the little iron-eating beast. It began to resist the divine pressure. In the face of the ancient god Golden Bull that erupted with all its might, 11 directly withdrew from its weakest restrained form and erupted with sharpness. Invisible white flash flames bloomed from 11, who was covered in white light, like an erupting volcano. Roar! With this shocking roar, under thousands of gazes, 11's form quickly changed. Its inner power. Yes, just now, that was only the weakest form of the iron-eating beast. Ji Mengzhu and the other beast tamers of Dong Huang were originally immersed in Shi Yu's shocked speech, but in the next moment, they shouted excitedly. Boom! In the giant transformation, 11's form was also changing. It enlarged to the same height as the ancient god Golden Bull. As the light dissipated, its entire body was wrapped in hard black armor. The armor covering its face and head had already become the color of silver lightning. Mysterious, domineering, honorable, and wild were the auras revealed by the iron-eating beast today. 9 Battle Beast form. Coupled with the black and white armor and the electric current flowing on the armor, it looked extremely ferocious, like an overlord that could suppress everything. Such a shapeshift, together with the declaration just now, stunned the Golden Bull ancient god. In the next moment, its body rumbled and changed. It returned to its impressive Tauran form and slowly flew in the sky. Its expression revealed dissatisfaction. Is that all? In the face of Eleven's eruption, although ancient god Golden Bull felt that the other party's aura was indeed powerful, it wasn't enough. Boom! It slapped its palm at 11 in the sky, and an incomparable golden illuminate shook the sky and earth. Can it withstand 10% of my strength? Ancient god Golden Bull's domineering voice resounded in the sky. No. At the moment, it's just gradually adapting to stronger power. Shiyu stood behind 11 and said extremely calmly. 11 was also cultivating hard. With the help of baby ginseng's time fruit, 11 had already mastered its many evolution forms and perfectly fused them, allowing it to change freely. At this moment, the eruption was the process of it completely displaying all the power it contained without holding back in order to stimulate all its potential. At the same time, it was also a witness to its growth. Iron-eating beast, 9 form. The 9 form gave 11 endless possibilities that were different from the iron-eating beast. Dazzling runes shone on the iron-eating beast's body in the huge armor, making its overall quality complete an unprecedented increase compared to its previous restrained form. Chapter 984, 984 God Slaying, 2. 984 God Slaying, 2. This was not an ordinary 9 form, but a 9 form built on the restrained form of the Chaos Panda. It was a new power developed by Shiyu and the others. Perhaps it was nothing in the eyes of the ancient god Golden Bull, but it was the foundation of all 11's power. Boom! Was that all? The ancient god Golden Bull had just said those words. In the next moment, as an inscription shone with black light, a demonic power surged from 11's huge body again. With a boom, everyone seemed to see the birth of a demon god. 11's form changed again. The armor and body seemed to have fused into one. The color changed from clearly silver and black to a mixture of white and gradually black. This color was like dark metal absorbing light, dazzling and mysterious. A terrifying demon god aura could be released. Although he could still see the outline of the iron-eating beast's figure clearly, there was already a tight layer of demon god armor on the outside. With 11 as the center, the terrifying power of the demon god erupted like a storm. In the silhouette, the power of Yunnan from the abyss evil god race seemed to be roaring at the world. Bang! 11 raised its arm. The shockwave formed by ancient god Golden Bull's palm was directly obliterated by the sweeping power of the demon god that filled the sky, disappearing without a trace. Demon god iron-eating beast. Seeing this, Ji Mengzhu flew up excitedly, as if she had returned to the extremely dazzling Emperor Wu dynasty. A form mastered by the devouring abyss race. How did they do it? The gods saw through the truth of this form at a glance. However, they didn't expect that the aura of the iron-eating beast that had already erupted with such power was still increasing. Ancient god Golden Bull's expression changed. In the next moment, the demon god armor directly collapsed. Under the collision of light, darkness, and lightning, it kept disintegrating into energy essence that fused into 11's body. In less than a few seconds, under the eruption of the sharpness, 11 completed 3 consecutive shapeshifts in an extremely dazzling manner. As 11 entered the chaos explosion form, its power could be said to have been completely stimulated. Roar! At this moment, the black and white electric arcs that filled the sky seemed to have become 11's hair. They kept floating like a chaotic ocean. 11 was like a behemoth walking out of the chaos lightning sea, like the first chaos thunder god after the creation of the world. At this moment, a godlike aura also erupted from 11's body, shaking the sky and earth. The vast universe swept through the entire sea area. This power was almost crushing for overlords, even for invincible overlords. Even the totem half-gods and the various gods were very moved. Is this power enough? Shi Yu asked. His words resounded throughout the world, shocking ancient god Golden Bull. However, it laughed out loud and said, "Not enough. If you want to defeat me, this level isn't enough. However, it should be enough to please me. Try attacking me. Come on, human. Let's see if your strength can make me take another step back." Boom! A heavy sound of laws bloomed on ancient god Golden Bull. However, in the next moment, its expression changed. "Then we'll become stronger," Shi Yu said. Boom! As Shi Yu activated his mind domain, the air around him began to hum and vibrate. The substantialized mental fluctuations formed black and white clueless fluctuations around him. With his entire body wrapped in black and white energy, Shi Yu's eyes quickly changed, directly turning into a spinning Taiji painting. A vast and deep power bloomed from Shi Yu's body. Buzz! The sound of laws spread. Ancient god Golden Bull revealed an incredulous expression. Countless creatures opened their mouths wide. They didn't understand why the sound of laws would appear on a human. As Shi Yu's psychic eye spun, a strong force field bloomed from his body. With him as the center, it quickly formed a domain that enveloped the world. In an instant, a huge spinning Taiji painting appeared in the sky and ground. The entire world became black and white. On the horizon, there was even a star that was identical to the patterns in Shi Yu's eyes. In this domain, it replaced the sun and moon. It was also a black and white circular star. It was like the manifestation of Shi Yu's eye of the heart. It hung on the horizon of the domain and watched everything. Under its gaze, the Taiji painting spinning in the sky and ground became more and more blurry. The pattern seemed to have turned into two yin-yang fish that appeared in motion and slowly swam around 11. At the same time, as if the planet was trembling, an incomparably deep sound of laws appeared on 11's body. The entire island felt a huge pressure. The consecutive changes could be said to have shocked everyone. At this moment, 11 seemed to have fallen into the chaos lightning and couldn't be seen clearly. The yin-yang fish swam into its hand. On its palm, a circular metal formed. The metal was black and white, one yin and one yang, one light and one dark. It was filled with two-colored lightning that fused, converted, and collided. It was extremely mysterious. Everything around it seemed to have turned into chaos, disintegrating and being obliterated. The two voices of laws fused, instantly producing an even stronger world vibration, making the expressions of the World Tree Clone, Boar God, Shenming, and all the other gods change drastically. How is this possible? Chapter 985, 985 God Slaying, 3. 985 God Slaying, 3. At that moment, when they saw the power condensed in 11's hand, the gods led by ancient god Golden Bull were stunned. At this moment, the vast aura spreading from 11's body actually gave them a feeling that it wasn't much inferior to a true god. This unbelievable scene kept attacking everyone's understanding. What about this power? In the face of Shi Yu's question, ancient god Golden Bull was already speechless. Metal control divine body. At this moment, ancient god Golden Bull could no longer remain calm. What happened? It couldn't withstand this power. If it were at its peak, although this law power was extremely high level, it could completely ignore it with the advantage of level. However, in this era where the power of divine skills was suppressed, everyone's divine skills were all on the same level. It was a competition of the quality of divine skills. It felt that its strength was completely suppressed by it. How was this possible? Ancient god Golden Bull's pupils constricted, revealing a shocked expression. At this moment, it actually felt his divine body being suppressed by this power of laws. Wait! Something was wrong. It suddenly couldn't react. In an instant, it suddenly suspected that the person opposite it was a supreme god that had suppressed its realm and was fighting it, not a creature from an era with incomplete laws. Are you monsters? It suddenly roared. Below. Everyone could clearly see that the originally calm and invincible ancient god Golden Bull suddenly revealed a shocked expression. Are you monsters? Everyone trembled when they heard ancient god Golden Bull's roar. Although they didn't understand what had happened, they could confirm that the iron-eating beast that had undergone 3 consecutive shapeshifts was also like a monster in the eyes of the Golden Bull ancient god. 11. Yin-Yang Millstone. At this moment, seeing ancient god Golden Bull activate a quasi-divine skill, Shiyu's command was also issued. The power of laws appeared in 11's palm. Then, a stream of air surged, and the Yin-Yang Millstone completely formed. Right on the heels of that, under the enlargement, it became larger and larger, as if a millstone enveloped the entire sky and smashed towards the ancient god Golden Bull. Buzz! Endless laws of metal flowed throughout ancient god Golden Bull's body, transforming the nature of metal in an attempt to crack this attack. But under the pupils of the ancient god Golden Bull, it felt that its metal divine body seemed incomparably small under this millstone. Boom! In order to block this attack, ancient god Golden Bull's body enlarged. Endless golden light and the sound of laws spread from its body. However, the Yin-Yang Millstone crossed the void and kept reversing and spinning, making it feel that its divine body was like a bean on the millstone, instantly broken. Stop for a second! At this moment, ancient god Golden Bull suddenly realized that this trial had already exceeded his tolerance range. An attack of the destruction law. An attack that heavily injured the divine body. A large mouthful of golden blood spewed out of ancient god Golden Bull's mouth, dyeing the sky golden. The bones on its body instantly shattered. Roar! The huge affliction made ancient god Golden Bull let out a world-shaking scream. A crazy gaze flowed in ancient god Golden Bull's eyes. That human wasn't bragging. It really wanted to defeat it. What a joke! How could a future human beast tamer do this? The shocking scream made Inatella fall silent. Everyone present revealed incredulous expressions. Everyone was stunned. Ancient god Golden Bull's miserable appearance completely made people lose their ability to think. Arbar, 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 under the stunned expression of the ox-headed beastmaster beside Master Chu Jie, it seemed to have recalled the fear of being dominated by the iron-eating beast. Impossible! Why could this iron-eating beast even suppress the bull god? The destructive power of the Yin-Yang Millstone directly suppressed ancient god Golden Bull deeper into the ground. An earthquake-like sound resounded through the entire island. Wave after wave of shockwave wreaked havoc in the sky and earth. Everyone was only stunned for a moment before discovering that the invincible ancient god Golden Bull had been directly beaten into a deep pit more than 100 meters deep. Just now, ancient god Golden Bull, who was still extremely disdainful of Shiyu and the others, directly fell silent. In mid-air, the World Tree clone and many gods had shocked expressions. They sensed the weak aura of the ancient god Golden Bull, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. The Golden Bull. It fainted? An extremely ridiculous scene made the brains of the gods go blank. They looked at Shiyu and the iron-eating beast in extreme shock. That's a top-notch law divine skill. How can they master it? On the battlefield, 11 gradually returned to its initial restrained form. The huge Yin-Yang Taiji domain also disappeared from Shiyu's body. An extremely weak feeling appeared on Shiyu and 11. However, their gazes still looked in the direction where ancient god Golden Bull fell. They wanted to know how much damage this attack had caused to ancient god Golden Bull. If the other party still wanted to continue fighting, they could only send all their members to attack together. However, as they waited, Shiyu and 11 never saw ancient god Golden Bull fly up again. Until ancient god Golden Bull's huge body was pulled up by the psychic power of the World Tree clone. Countless people looked at the body with closed eyes and bleeding all over. They opened their mouths wide. Ancient god Golden Bull fainted? What a joke! That was a god from the mythical era. Teacher, what's this? In the Dong Huang audience area, Lin Xiuzhu looked at everything in a daze and asked Ji Mengzhu. She still knew about the 9-Li battle beast and the demon god iron-eating beast. However, the chaos iron-eating beast that was twined in light and darkness and filled with a chaotic lightning sea had already exceeded her understanding range. However, even the chief trainer of Emperor Wu's iron-eating beast didn't understand what kind of evolution Shi Yu's iron-eating beast had experienced at this moment. As Ji Mengzhu stammered, Senior Panda Lin Xiuzhu understood that an extremely unbelievable thing had happened to Shi Yu and 11 again. Teacher, if I say that iron-eating beast, 11, was still a little guy who couldn't even awaken hardening in the breeding base a few years ago, would you believe me? Monster! At this moment, many spectators finally understood why the expression of the originally calm ancient god Golden Bull suddenly changed drastically and crazily called them monsters. From the normal audience to the legendary demigods, at this moment, when they saw this scene, they were all crazy. What exactly is going on? At this moment, the boar god, Shenming, Demon King Dragon, and the other gods asked Shi Yu in shock. They never expected that Shi Yu didn't manage to last 5 minutes in the hands of ancient god Golden Bull, but he directly heavily injured ancient god Golden Bull in one hit. Moreover, he only used one pet. The domain that resounded with the sound of laws and the terrifying millstone shocked even the gods present when they recalled it again. They only wanted to help ancient god Golden Bull understand what kind of monster the human in front of them was. At the same time, they asked themselves if they could withstand that attack in their current state if they stood in the position of ancient god Golden Bull. Woo! At this moment, although 11, who had beaten a god in one hit, was weak, it cheered especially happily. Its round face was filled with excitement. Everyone, especially the Black Dragon Juggernaut and the Tyrant Dragon King, had frightened expressions. When Shi Yu said that this guy was the strongest trump card in his team, no one originally felt anything. But at this moment, they all knew the content of this sentence. Looks like we won. Shi Yu heaved a sigh of relief under 11's cheers. So close. It looked like these gods were completely strong on the outside but weak on the inside. They had yet to completely recover. If they were stronger, they would probably have to force out the 6-pet fusion mecha. It looked like this trump card could be left to future enemies. He won? At this moment, when they heard Shi Yu's words, the gods felt that it was extremely ridiculous. They completely didn't expect that Shi Yu, who had taken their trial, was such a pervert, monster, and freak. Did he know what he had done? Chapter 986 Fast forward to the next session, 1. 986 Fast forward to the next session, 1. Inatella. At this moment, everyone present suspected that Shi Yu was not human. That unbelievable Taiji domain that touched the sound of laws. Was it really a beast-taming talent derived from telepathy? Was he sure that he wasn't a divine beast in human skin? In addition, the millstone in the iron-eating beast's hand that obliterated the void and laws was a little stunned. Can that also be considered a mind domain? The holy divine deer, which had tested the talent of various beast-tamers previously, had an extremely incredulous expression. A skill that triggered the sound of laws. If this wasn't a divine skill, what was? The World Tree clone originally thought that Shi Yu's development of his mind domain was thanks to its World Tree fruit. But from the looks of it, that wasn't the case at all. This black and white domain simply crushed that World Tree domain. Many gods present had only mastered one divine skill. Combination divine skills were exclusive to powerful gods who cultivated 2 divine skills. And if a god could combine 2 divine skills, it would be even rarer. If beast tamers and pets were considered a whole, then Shi Yu and that pet's behavior just now had completely crushed these gods in terms of skill. After all, many gods present had only mastered one divine skill. Moreover, what they sensed just now was definitely not wrong. Be it the laws mastered by Shi Yu or that creature, they were both extremely top-notch power of laws. For other powers, even low-level power of laws had a strong restraining effect. Many gods and even the World Tree clones really didn't understand why there were creatures who could cultivate such a skill in this era with incomplete laws. Well, at this moment, Shi Yu was a little silent. He suddenly noticed that ancient god Golden Bull had yet to wake up and couldn't help but feel a little guilty. It shouldn't be a big problem. This was the first time he had assisted 11 in using the Yin-Yang Millstone after eating the World Tree fruit and strengthening the Taiji domain a second time. Although he had already expected that the power of this combination divine skill was not inferior to the law divine skills mastered by these weak gods, Shiyu still didn't expect ancient god Golden Bull to be smashed so badly in an instant. "Little brat, what did you do?" At this moment, Lord Lai Shan couldn't help but say again. "If you knock it out, who's going to give you a reward?" "Shiyu?" So this was the main point? Don't awaken ancient god Golden Bull first. It's already in an enfeebled state. Just now, it suffered the injury of laws. After healing and awakening, its state will also be very painful. Let ancient god Golden Bull directly enter the mythical ruins to sleep for a period of time. When it wakes up, we'll discuss what happens after, the World Tree clone said after a moment of silence. It was mainly because it was afraid that after ancient god Golden Bull woke up, it would fight Shiyu again unconvinced. In the current state of waking up the gods, it was not suitable to use divine skills to fight at all. It couldn't watch ancient god Golden Bull do stupid things for nothing. How aggrieved would it be if a god died in the Overlord battle? All right. At this moment, when he heard that ancient god Golden Bull was fine, Shiyu nodded. It was good that he was fine. As for the reward, it was fine even if it was a day or two later. In any case, ancient god Golden Bull couldn't run away. A god couldn't go back on his word, right? At that moment, everyone was completely certain that Shiyu had defeated a god alone. They couldn't help but be shocked. By the way, especially when Shiyu, who looked quite weak at this moment, suddenly looked around. As soon as he finished speaking, the members of the various countries swallowed their saliva again. The island fell silent. The trial is over. Isn't it time for the main competition? I'm a little tired now. Why don't we end the main competition quickly? After it's over, I'll go rest together. During the preliminaries, I said that I would become a new world legend. So now, whoever isn't convinced, let's attack together. Shiyu grinned and looked at the hundreds of contestants around him. Boom! Upon hearing that, the pupils of the fallen angel, the dark elf, and the others constricted, and their hearts trembled. This monster first smashed the green dragon totem to death, then blew up the rubber tree totem. Now that he had even defeated a god, and he was actually asking who else was willing to fight him? The main competition? At the thought of the main competition without many restrictions and having to face Shiyu's iron-eating beast, green dragon, revival self-explosion ginseng, blue sea sprite, sword spirit, and mechanical phantom beast in one go, many contestants couldn't breathe. Not to mention all of them attacking together, even if they only faced one alone, at this moment, no contestant was confident. Generally speaking, there was tactical cooperation between the many pets of the beast tamers of the 7 countries. When combined, it could display stronger battle power. As for Shiyu's individual pets, they were already so ridiculous. Everyone really couldn't imagine what they would look like when combined. Not to mention contestants, even the totem that had long become famous was extremely afraid of Shiyu. For example, the Tyrant Dragon King. At this moment, as a top-notch totem, it even began to wonder if it was confident of retreating unscathed if it dealt with Shiyu alone. Was this still a level 6 beast tamer? He was more like a legendary beast tamer. Ha 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 ha. At that moment, under the gazes of the legendaries of the other 6 countries who couldn't understand why such a monstrous beast tamer appeared in Donghuang, Divine Source Legendary couldn't help but laugh. Who else was there? With Shiyu's current strength, who could stop him from becoming a world legend and accepting the blessings of the World Tree? No one. Be it the 7 countries or the totem country, no matter who it was, none of them dared to stand out in the face of Shiyu's challenge. At this moment, Divine Source Legendary was even excited. He wanted to celebrate with everyone when he returned to the country. The entire country would be exempted from taxes for a year. Believe in the Green Dragon, tax exemption, paid leave. Shiyu could definitely become stronger. This scene also stunned Yin Zhengfan, Jiao Xian, White Brook, and the others. They recalled the National League. The main competition had yet to begin, but the National League had already ended. In the end, it was the same for the World Tournament? Before the main competition even began, Shi Yu had already displayed invincible strength, making all the contestants give up resisting and surrender. However, wasn't it just a year since the National League of University Students? How did Shi Yu grow from a national student champion to a terrifying existence that could crush gods? This growth speed completely made Jiao Xian and the other beast tamers who still had the thought of surpassing Shi Yu completely unable to have any feelings of pursuit. The difference was too great. Even when they heard the story of the evolution legendary Lin Feng, they didn't think it was so ridiculous. Was this the so-called monster born in the golden era before the mythical revival? The World Tournament is, at this moment, the World Tree clone actually had plans long ago. It had long felt that there was no contestant who could compete with Shi Yu in this world competition before the few trials. In that case, there was no need to continue competing. There was only one winner in the world competition anyway. If there's no one, the world competition will end here. Dong Huang's Shi Yu will receive the blessings of the World Tree and become a new world legend. Although it was very strange to call a level 6 beast tamer a titled legend, the truth was right in front of them. Even the World Tree clone didn't know what to say. Damn it! At this moment, in the face of the World Tree clone, the contestants of the Totem Country and the 7 countries were extremely aggrieved. They finally felt the feelings of the ordinary beast tamers who had once been suppressed by their light. This was the irresistible unwillingness to compete with stronger and more monstrous monsters. However, at this moment, although the promotion had been completed, the World Tree clone said, however, due to the special situation, I'll hold another world competition soon. It might be a year, or 2, or 3. It will be in 7 years. The World Tree clone said. In order to welcome the next new era, it planned to hold another world competition. He hoped that at that time, another beast tamer like Shi Yu would appear. A beast tamer with potential comparable to a peak-level divine level. Although the interval between the world competitions was not long, according to its understanding, Shi Yu's growth was only a few years. So maybe another monster could appear. At that time, I'll also give you my blessings. It was mainly because sending a blessing required a lot of its strength. In the short term, it could only be given to one person. The rules remain. Beast tamers under the age of 30 can participate. At this moment, when they heard from the World Tree that a world competition would appear soon, young beast tamers like Jiao Xian were delighted. Even children like Yin Jingfan suddenly felt their blood boil. In addition, even if you meet the conditions to participate, as long as you obtain the blessing of the World Tree once, you can't participate anymore. In the end, the World Tree didn't forget to ban Shi Yu from competing. It was so close. It almost forgot that this guy was still young. Even after 7 years, he was still under 30. He had to be banned. Shi Yu? Chapter 987, 987 Blessing of the World Tree. 987 Blessing of the World Tree. The World Tournament had ended. No one from the various factions expected the World Tournament to end just like that. The only good news they heard might be that there would be another World Tournament next, and that bastard Shi Yu had been banned from the competition. Fortunately, although the process of this world competition was extremely ridiculous, most factions didn't suffer any losses. Not only did they obtain the information of the mythical revival, but many contestants from the factions also obtained the rewards of the World Tree in the preliminaries. Only the contestants from the large factions who wanted to compete with Shi Yu for the inheritance had a very miserable outcome. My son. At this moment, the tyrant Dragon King was still immersed in grief. Although that little brat Shi Yu's strength is extraordinary and he has the blessing of the World Tree and the protection of a demigod legendary, if I can't avenge you, how can I still be your father? But why did you lose to that Shi Yu? You're simply letting down your father's nurturing. I'm ashamed to have a son like you. It's fine not to have such a useless son. A few years is enough. I can definitely nurture a more perfect heir. In the next world competition, we must make Dong Huang pay a heavy price. The most important thing now was to break through to demigod as soon as possible. Is it over? Can we continue sleeping? At this moment, when the boar god, Shenming, and the other gods saw that the trial had all ended and the world tournament had completely ended, they, who had completed their respective missions, finally felt weak and tired. After ancient god Golden Bull slept, they were also going to sleep. Yes, it's over. Everyone, you can leave on your own. If there's anything else, I'll inform you again, the World Tree clone said. At the same time, it looked at Xiyu and couldn't wait anymore. Champion, next, follow me to see the main body. All right, Xiyu said in joy. The blessings of the World Tree and the key to activating the skill fusion were finally here. Please wait a moment. However, at this moment, Xiyu spoke at the last minute. With the help of Buggy in the beast-taming space, he teleported behind the fallen angel of the Demon Kingdom. At this moment, the fallen angel, who was still recovering from its serious injuries, didn't expect Xiyu to suddenly teleport behind it. As Shiyu's palm landed on its shoulder, the fallen angel's expression immediately changed, and it dodged crazily as if it was facing a great enemy. After all, this was a ruthless person who had killed 2 totems and a god. The fallen angel even suspected that even if it broke through to the totem level, it wouldn't be Shiyu's match. What are you doing? He was shocked. Skill, Soul Incarnation. Copy successful. Xiyu didn't expect the fallen angel to have such a big reaction. He said in embarrassment, I obtained a cub of a demon race from the mythical era in Lord Lai Shanjuan's inheritance. I plan to visit the Demon Kingdom in the future. I don't think you won't welcome me, right? Xiyu said with a smile. The fallen angel's heart trembled and it had already lost the ability to speak. He didn't know how to reply to Xiyu. He subconsciously imagined countless scenes of meteors descending to the Demon Nation and countless ginseng babies self-destructing in the Demon Nation. There was also the scene of that iron-eating beast sending him flying with a slap. There was even a scene of countless succubi and beautiful fallen angels being snatched away by Xiyu in the Demon Kingdom. Who exactly was the demon? Agree to it. However, the Demon King of the Demon Nation, who was hiding in the void, said after a moment of silence. Xiyu? Although their camps were different, thinking about it carefully, there had never been any large-scale conflict between the Demon Kingdom and Dong Huang. In addition, Xiyu had obtained the cub of the demon god race. This Demon King also wanted to see what Xiyu wanted to do in the Demon Kingdom. The myth was about to revive. The world structure was about to be rewritten. The enemy was about to invade. At this moment, having another friend was better than having another enemy. No matter how one looked at it, this Xiyu looked like the legendary son of fate. Sure. As the fallen angel prince's heart exploded, Xiyu left without any reluctance. Only a fool would go now that he had obtained the skill. What was so fun about the Demon Nation? After touching the most important skill for Kai Tong's evolution skill, Xiyu felt that it was perfect. In his opinion, this skill was even more important than the Golden Bull God's metal control divine body. After all, it was too difficult to teach a divine skill after touching it. It was better to see what changes the skill fusion could bring to the skill pool of his team later. Perhaps he could also fuse a physique skill that contained the law of metal. In that case, there was no need to learn from others. In comparison, evolution skills were what Xiyu lacked the most at the moment. Go! At this moment, Dong Huang's divine source legendary, President Lin, and the others looked at Xiyu with extreme joy. Finally, after 2 years, another world legend appeared in Dong Huang. Moreover, this world legend was even more valuable than the previous 2 batches, no, even more so than the evolution legendary Lin Feng. A level 6 beast tamer had obtained the title of world legend. Different factions looked at Xiyu in completely different moods. However, even those factions who were very unwilling to see Xiyu accept the blessings of the World Tree didn't dare to say anything at this moment. After all, as the strongest demigod, the clone of the planet's resistance, the World Tree knew many gods. It was far from what these demigods could do to change their minds. Let's go, let's go! In the next moment, the Boar God and the other gods entered their mythical ruins and fell asleep again. As for the World Tree clone, it also tore open a mystic realm and invited Xiyu to enter with it. Shiyu glanced at the outside world and took a deep breath before entering. He understood that after leaving, if he came out again, he would reach the top of Blue Planet. World Tree Mystic Realm. It was green. The Mystic Realm was not big, but in the center, there was a huge tree that reached the sky. It was connected to the ground and contained an ancient and heavy aura. This strongest demigod in the future that had existed since ancient times displayed holy light under the golden afterglow in the sky. 11, who was on Shiyu's shoulder, and the World Tree clone that had returned to its worm form entered with Shiyu. After entering the World Tree Mystic Realm, the World Tree's clone began to turn into light spots that filled the sky and fused into the World Tree. At the same time, a gentle voice with surprise and joy that could encompass everything came from the World Tree and appeared in Shiyu's spirit and mind world. Congratulations, Champion! As an archaeologist who has traced many history of the mythical era, I believe you have more questions than others. Before I bless you, I can answer some questions I know. Shiyu listened to the World Tree quietly. Standing in the Mystic Realm, he and 11 looked up at the World Tree. Shiyu thought for a moment and asked the question he was most concerned about. Lord World Tree, I heard that humans aren't native creatures of this world. World Tree, who told you that? Is this also your archaeological discovery? The World Tree was even more surprised. Shiyu had an innocent expression and said, no, it was Lord Lai Shan. It said it. The World Tree fell silent. It had indeed told the 7 revived gods about this, but it didn't expect Lord Lai Shan to tell them after spending a while alone with Shiyu. Yes, but not exactly. To be precise, it's the most primitive batch of humans, not native life forms of Blue Planet. They were brought back by a god who left Blue Planet. But the humans who have the beast-taming space now are new races created and reproduced according to these humans as templates. They are undoubtedly lives born on Blue Planet. Your mother planet is still Blue Planet. But in the depths of the starry sky, there might be other humans in other worlds. Shiyu was slightly surprised. A god who left Blue Planet? That's right. After the mythical era ended, many powerful gods chose to leave Blue Planet. At that time, Blue Planet still needed a long time to recover and couldn't withstand their existence. Even if they slept, they also hoped to find a new path and explore higher domains above the divine level. Among them, the arrival of humans originated from the agreement between a supreme god spirit and the Blue Planet's resistance. I'm not sure about more content. We might only know when the Blue Planet's resistance completely awakens, the World Tree said. You don't know either? No. I can only be considered a clone of the Blue Planet's will. The real Blue Planet's resistance is ranked at the peak of the divine realm like the ancestral dragon, the origin phoenix, and the other supreme gods. The division of the divine realm. Do you know? The entire divine level is divided into 4 realms. Among them, the supreme gods of the 2nd, 3rd, and peak 4th realms have already left Blue Planet. Even if they sleep, the power of Blue Planet is not enough to support their habitat. Perhaps they will only return one by one when the mythical stage completely revives. Shiyu was even more shocked. Ancestral Dragon, Yuan Feng, are they still alive? The World Tree said, I don't know. Shiyu? Sister, why did it not know anything? Perhaps you'll know after you become a divine level, the World Tree said. Inatella Island has a ruin that comes from the god who brought humans. It once left instructions that the first human beast tamer to enter the divine level can enter and understand more truth. At that time, this person will head to the new world it's in. Therefore, if you want to know, reach the divine level as soon as possible. At that time, you can also tell me. As the person blessed by the world closest to mythical revival, you might be the human with the potential closest to the god realm. Shiyu? Divine level, Shiyu said, can I know the name of that god? Sure. It's called W.A. God. Shiyu was shocked. Before he could think too much, the World Tree continued. After using the power of the world to bless you, you can definitely become a legendary beast tamer in 7 years. When there are no shackles of the world's laws, you can break through to the divine level when the conditions are right. After all, you have two pets of mythical races and the son of the stars. However, the world tree suddenly fell silent. I suddenly feel that 7 years is too long for you. It will waste your talent. Human, do you want to receive stronger blessings? I can strengthen the world tree blessing and add a new effect to the original foundation. Letting you have the second beast taming space means that at the same level, the number of creatures you can contract will be twice that of ordinary beast tamers. However, you need to open up this second beast taming space from scratch. Similarly, after giving you a new beast taming space, I hope you can nurture more pets similar to it. The world tree's gaze landed on 11. This was not easy for it either. In the face of the previous world legends, it didn't even mention it, but for Shi Yu, who had cultivated 11 and the green dragon, the world tree suddenly felt that it wasn't necessarily a bad thing to let Shi Yu contract more pets. He was different from other beast tamers. There wouldn't be a situation where his cultivation wasn't good. The battle power of the 6 pets was evidence. What? At this moment, Shi Yu, who originally felt that the greatest effect of the world tree blessing was to activate the skill fusion, was suddenly stunned. World tree blessing plus addition? The second beast taming space? Talent like Yinjing Fan? In other words, when he reached the divine level, he could at most have 20 contract slots. There was such a good thing? Chapter 988, 988 Breaking Through to Legendary. 988 Breaking Through to Legendary. The blessings of the world tree had many effects. What Shi Yu often heard was that it could increase the comprehension of the pet contracted by the target of the blessing and increase the learning ability of the pet. In other words, if a beast tamer blessed by the world tree trained a low-level skill, the pet might become expert in a day. 2 days would make it perfect, and a month would be Dao proficiency. Of course, this wasn't that useful to Shi Yu. And it wasn't that useless. After all, the upper limit of non-racial skills was still at transcendent and couldn't be broken through. If he wanted to train it to a higher level in the future, he had to rely on the pet to develop it itself. At this moment, if the pet's learning ability was stronger, it would be very useful. Apart from that, the blessing of the world tree was equivalent to a meditation accelerator. It could allow beast tamers to reach the legendary level very quickly. When Lin Feng participated in the world tournament, he was only a normal legend, but after becoming the champion, he only used 2 years to break through 2 levels and enter the legendary domain. This was still a little useful for Shi Yu. After all, he didn't like to meditate, but the level of the contracted pet was limited by the level of the beast tamer. If he could reach the maximum level quickly, he would be very happy. At the same time, the blessing of the world tree could also make it easier for the contracted pet of the target to break through the racial restrictions and complete the evolution. In addition, it could increase the various abilities of the beast tamer. The various effects covered all aspects. These effects could be said to be pretty good, but for him, it was completely incomparable to having 10 more contract slots. An additional contract slot might not be useful to ordinary beast tamers. For example, Yin Jingfan's father, as a normal legend, really didn't have that many resources and opportunities to nurture so many pets. However, for the current rich Shi Yu, he could completely afford to pay more resources to nurture pets. What did the more pets he contracted mean? It meant that the more attributes the pet could give to himself. After a beast tamer was strong, the effect of the beast taming talent would be stronger. Perhaps there wouldn't be any huge changes in ordinary talent, but it was different in the skill index. Thinking about it carefully, after the attribute feedback of the 20 pets, the side effects of adding points might decrease to a negligible level. Although he might have to add points to more pets at that time, if he could easily complete the additional points for super and even divine level skills, Shi Yu expressed that it was completely no problem. Initially, he was still worried if his future physique could withstand the additional points of the divine skill, but if there was another pile of feedback from contracted pets, he felt that it shouldn't be a problem. In fact, his current physique was already very strong. He really didn't know how much his physique would increase after contracting all pets. This strengthening blessing was very key. Perhaps it decided if he could support the additional points or fusion of divine skills in the future. No problem. At this moment, when he heard that the World Tree wanted to strengthen him, Shi Yu immediately agreed. If I have a second beast taming space, in 7 years, I'm confident of pulling up a second team of the mythical race at the demigod level. At that time, if Blue Planet meets an external enemy, leave it to me. I'll defeat them one by one. I know. The World Tree nodded and said, I don't doubt your ability. The Abyss Demon Duck and the Son of the Stars are both creatures with extraordinary potential. And the cub of the demon god race that Lord Lai Shan handed to you. Ordinary beast tamers contract slots might no longer be able to satisfy you. In that case, come and receive the blessings. You can also summon all your contracted pets and receive the blessings together. The huge World Tree that reached the sky emitted a golden light, making the mystic realm even more dazzling. Endless light fell like a meteor shower and landed on Shi Yu's body. Beside it, 11, Buggy, Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, Susu, Ling, and the others, who had shrunk into cub forms, also looked at the flowing light descending from the sky curiously. Yi! Mommy sent. Baby Ginseng. Buggy, Kai Tong, and the other pets? They suspected that it wanted to cozy up to someone powerful, but there was no evidence. Therefore, that hard-working ginseng baby also knew the benefits of acknowledging a mother. However, this was indeed a real mother. After all, it was the Will clone of the mother planet that nurtured all the creatures on Blue Planet. Absorb it seriously, Shi Yu said. Woo woo woo. Thousands of streams of light fell into their bodies. At this moment, Shi Yu felt that his already very powerful body, spirit, soul, heart, and life force had been strengthened again. And it was a very gentle strengthening without any side effects. Is this the blessing of the World Tree? In fact, before participating in the world competition, Shi Yu had another idea. It was to replicate the blessings of the World Tree and teach it to pets. But now, he actually no longer had this thought. The reason was also very simple. The Son of the Stars also knew the move World Blessing. He already had it. World Blessing, super skill, can rely on the world itself to give other life blessings. The effect of the blessing depends on the world's ability. After carefully studying this skill, Shi Yu realized that the blessing of the World Tree that he had replicated seemed to be useless. Chapter 989 Breaking Through to Legendary, 2. 989 Breaking Through to Legendary, 2. After all, the blessing effect depended on the world itself. The World Tree could bless on behalf of Blue Planet, but for other pets, the blessing effect might not necessarily be the case. There was even a high chance that unless it was a world-type life form, it couldn't be taught. Therefore, it was better to slowly nurture Little Purple's ability. In the future, it could also master abilities similar to the blessing of the World Tree. If it weren't for the fact that Little Purple was too weak now and didn't even have a complete law formed in its body, Shi Yu even suspected that its blessing power could activate its skill fusion. Shi Yu felt that this skill fusion should also be a divine-level skill similar to the Taiji domain. It should require the recognition of the world's laws to be used. Therefore, he could be said to be filled with anticipation. Could the Wex Palm plus Hardening directly fuse into a Lightning Armor skill and have a higher upper limit than the combination skill? Hardening plus Undying Golden Body plus Tempered Steel plus Reinforced Iron Bones plus Overlord Body Armor plus Demon God Body plus Giant Transformation, could it fuse into a divine body that was not inferior to the Bull God's Metal Control divine body? It could be said that because of this skill, every pet of Shi Yu had endless possibilities. He could upgrade a pile of low-level skills with extreme potential into divine skills that could fight in higher domains. Amidst Shi Yu's anticipation, his brain rumbled. Technique fusion was unlocked. At the same time, not only did Shi Yu's skill index talent undergo a qualitative change because of the world blessing, but Shi Yu's beast taming space also underwent a qualitative change. The beast taming space, which had been stuck at the level 6 bottleneck for a long time, finally completed the final transformation with the blessings of the World Tree. The strength of the spatial crystal wall in the beast taming space had reached level 7. When the color turned black, it meant that Shiyu could already contract and control Overlord-level pets normally. From today onwards, I'm a legend. Shiyu opened his eyes and felt another boom. In his body, the seed of the second beast-taming space was quietly born, nurturing a new sprout. At the moment, this beast-taming space in a chaotic state had yet to reach level 1, so it was impossible to contract a pet. However, Shiyu felt that as long as he cultivated and opened up like the first beast-taming space, this beast-taming space could quickly be completely formed. With his current level 7 physique and Little Purple's world blessing, it was simply too easy to meditate and cultivate a level 0 beast-taming space. Buzz? After all, Shiyu clenched his fists. At this moment, his physique was even more ridiculous. The burden of contracting 11 and buggy above his level had completely disappeared. He only felt an unprecedented joy. In addition to the current blessings of the World Tree, Shiyu estimated that it would be very fast. In less than half a year, he should be able to cultivate this second beast-taming space to the same level as the first beast-taming space. This way, Little G, Ducky, and the others might have a chance to become regular members and become a real second team U. I wonder if there's a possibility of a third team that can't be contracted in the future with 20 contract slots. No, compared to the 3 teams, it's more suitable to describe it with believers, armies, and citizens. Even if there is, it's a creature from another world born in the body of the Son of the Stars, Little Z. Under Shiyu's excitement, good news also came from Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, Susu, Ling, and the others. Because of the blessings of the World Tree, their super skills that had originally not reached perfect proficiency and were just a trace away from perfect proficiency were cultivated to perfection because of the increase in comprehension. In addition to their teaching skills that exceeded perfect proficiency, at this moment, as Shiyu broke through, every pet of Shiyu no longer had the original restrictions. They were about to break through to the Overlord level in a perfect posture. All of them were about to become Overlords. As Shiyu muttered, the World Tree's voice sounded. Because you've consumed the World Tree fruit, in addition to your special mind domain, your Ginseng baby is very compatible with my world blessing power. Perhaps you can try to open the mind domain and let it break through and evolve under my blessed state. Because the blessing of the power of the world should still have a high chance of success. Yeah, YA. Upon hearing that, Baby Ginseng was immediately pleasantly surprised. It said that it smelled like a mother. In that case, Shiyu also looked at Baby Ginseng. Then let it evolve. The blessing of the World Tree indeed seemed to have the effect of letting the contracted pet of the target break through the racial restrictions and complete evolution. Mining, then, under the envious expressions of Kai Tong and the others, Baby Ginseng pressed its little flower hat profoundly with an excited expression. At this moment, there was finally no level restriction. Shiyu also took out Baby Ginseng's legendary resource, the Divine Earth of Life, that had never been completely used and handed it to Baby Ginseng. At the same time, he also took out more than 40 fruits of life and arranged them in a row. The Divine Earth of Life was Dong Huang's, and these fruits of life that were close and comparable to legendary resources were resources that had erupted from the trial of the Eternal Tree and were organized by Baby Ginseng. Shiyu originally planned to use them as supplements for himself to add points to, but since Baby Ginseng was evolving now, in order to have stronger strength and potential, the priority was naturally the highest. After all, Baby Ginseng itself was also a supplement, and it was a growth-type supplement. Next, let's see how much Baby Ginseng could absorb. Chapter 990, a 990 Breaking Through to Legendary, 3. 990 Breaking Through to Legendary, 3. Baby Ginseng, evolve. Shiyu closed his eyes. In the dark world, Shiyu saw a blue planet, Earth, and the huge tree growing on it in his heart. World Tree Domain. Boom! Shiyu opened his eyes. At this moment, his eyes turned emerald green, containing a huge life force. As Shiyu activated his mind domain, the air around him began to hum and vibrate. The substantialized mental wave formed green ripples around him. In the next moment, as Shiyu's psychic eye spun, a strong wave bloomed from his body. With him as the center, it quickly formed a domain that enveloped the world and overlapped with the World Tree mystic realm. No matter how many times I watch it, I still feel that it's magical, the World Tree couldn't help but say. The entire world turned green. Yi! Baby Ginseng's firm gaze was connected to the earth chain, connecting a pile of fruits of life and the divine earth of life. At the same time, the light representing the World Tree's blessing continued to descend from the sky and flow into Baby Ginseng's body. Boom! Under the enhancement of endless power, an evolution light enveloped Baby Ginseng. Its form suddenly changed. From the originally small ginseng baby form, it gradually grew strong, as if it had turned into a sapling and gradually grew into a towering divine tree. It was dozens of meters tall. During its growth, fruits formed on the tree. When its branches bloomed, every fruit on every branch was like a new ginseng baby. Soon, the light dissipated and it appeared in a new form. A huge cream-colored trunk, emerald green leaves, moonlike golden branches, sunlike fiery red flowers, fruits that looked like ginseng babies, decorated this complete divine tree. On the divine tree, as the core fruit of the entire plant life, it opened its eyes and stood on the divine tree. Its form was no different from the ginseng baby before evolution, but its aura was more than a little larger. At this moment, this ginseng baby was looking at its world in extreme joy. It took off. Energy points? It didn't absorb more than half of the fruit of life for nothing. Of the more than 40 legendary quality level 8 fruits of life, only 20 were directly absorbed by Baby Ginseng. Half of the full legendary quality legendary fruits of life were also absorbed by Baby Ginseng. Under the feedback of Baby Ginseng, no, it should be said that Shiyu's green eyes were also filled with surprise. Wu Tildet 11, Buggy, and the others were also suddenly happy. Because? Skill name, World Tree Fruit. Level, Super. Stats, Wood. Introduction: it can increase the user's comprehension and increase the limit of their learning ability. Shiyu called it heaven-defying. The World Tree Fruit he ate was back. Although what Baby Ginseng created was definitely not as powerful as the mythical World Tree Fruit given by the World Tree, but how could it be solved? It was fine to add points. Coupled with the blessings of the World Tree, Shiyu felt that even if it was a non-racial skill, 11 and the others could train to death, aiming for Dao proficiency. This was also the source of 11 and the others' excitement. However, in this evolution, Baby Ginseng didn't just awaken this new skill. There was another one. Skill name, World Favor. Level, Quasi-God level skill. Introduction: it can borrow the power of the world to let skills cultivated to the extreme have the ability to touch laws and become pseudo-God skills. Quasi-divine skill. In other words. Name: Baby Ginseng. Race: World Ginseng. Race level: low-level mythical race. Level of growth: Overlord. Baby Ginseng had also become a mythical race. The favor of the world wasn't the strongest skill, but for Baby Ginseng, this was the most cost-effective skill. This was an extremely comprehensive strengthening divine skill. It had a similar effect to Shiyu's World Tree domain. It could allow all the skills that Baby Ginseng had reached Dao proficiency to be strengthened by the divine level and display an effect close to a divine skill. Even low, intermediate, and high-level skills were the same. They could be called pseudo-God skills and small divine skills. It could be said that not only did it increase Baby Ginseng's battle power, but it also strengthened its support, healing, and many other abilities in all aspects. Shiyu felt that it could be used with the World Tree domain. The effect was similar to the Taiji domain and the Yin-Yang Millstone. Not bad. At this moment, looking at the ginseng baby that had completed its evolution, the World Tree nodded and said, "It has indeed awakened an impressive skill. I can feel that it can borrow the power of the world relatively easily like me." Yes. Shiyu nodded. However, there are also restrictions to such a skill. That is, only a world that allows it to borrow power can maximize the effect. If you go to other worlds in the future and are rejected by the world's will, this skill will be useless. However, if it cooperates with your mind domain, it might be able to change this situation. Then now, baby ginseng can also be called a mythical race, right? The World Tree said, it can be called a low-level mythical race. 3. This way, Shiyu would contract 3 creatures of mythical races. The World Tree felt more and more that the potential of this world legend was very huge. Mechanical illusion god of a low-level mythical race, World Ginseng, and that iron-eating beast with stronger potential. At the moment, it couldn't determine the full potential of that iron-eating beast. The full power of the divine skill might only be displayed after the mythical revival. Whether it was a high-level mythical race or a cub of a top-notch mythical race depended on what kind of transformation it could undergo after the mythical revival. Yeah. At this moment, the evolution was completed. Under the control of the plant, baby ginseng sealed the entire world ginseng form in its body. It still felt that it was more convenient to move in this ginseng baby form. As for the world tree form, it consumed too much energy. It planned to use it during battle. Just like 11, Buggy, and Susu, they liked the baby form. By the way, at this moment, Shiyu suddenly recalled something. He smiled and asked the World Tree Mother. Lord World Tree, the time of the next world competition. Can you reveal a little? He couldn't participate, but he could quickly nurture an expert who could participate for Dong Huang. If there was time, he would find more resources and turn Senior Lu into an expert who could defeat the Totem Country. If Senior Lu exceeded the age limit, there was still Senior Panda and the Beast-Eared Girl. At the very least, there was still the younger genius of Dong Huang. With the World Tree blessing at its peak, he felt that it would be a loss if it was taken away by other countries. What do you want? The World Tree looked at Shiyu cautiously. Chapter 991 Kai Tong evolved again, 1. 991 Kai Tong evolved again, 1. What do you want? Ah. I'm just curious. Curious? The World Tree was silent. If it were others who were curious, the World Tree would believe it. However, Shiyu, as the guy who took all the reward for the 7 trial inheritances, the World Tree didn't believe that Shiyu was purely curious. However, at the time of the next world competition, I'm not sure either. If the World Tree could still predict it previously, then now, after giving Shiyu the strength and blessing, the World Tree didn't know how long it would sleep for. But what was certain was that he would definitely wake up within 7 years. All right, Shiyu said with a smile. If he wasn't sure, he would see. If Lin Feng could go from legend to legendary in 2 years, he felt that he should be able to too. Even if his meditation speed would be delayed because of the second beast taming space, the problem was that he still had Little Z, a cultivation support tool. At that time, standing at the height of the legendary level and contracting a demigod-level ginseng baby, Shiyu didn't believe that he couldn't nurture a titled legend genius who could fight totems above his level. He also wanted the next blessing of the World Tree. He couldn't let good things go to outsiders. By the way, at the thought of the second beast taming space, Shiyu suddenly noticed a huge problem. He asked, Lord World Tree, after the second beast taming space is established, will it awaken a new beast taming talent like the original beast taming space? The World Tree said, yes. But I've never opened up a second beast taming space for humans. You're the first. Therefore, I can't be sure what talent will awaken. There's a high chance that it's still a telepathy talent. Shiyu? Damn! What was the use of having 2 telepathy talents? Could it sense it himself? However, it's also possible that it's another beast-taming talent. You have to explore everything yourself. Shiyu scratched his face slightly. Forget it. He could do whatever he wanted. If he awakened a strengthening talent, it would be the same as dual telepathy. Shiyu felt that it was useless. Considering that most beast-taming talents were extremely useless to him, Shiyu no longer looked forward to it. Even if it mutated into a new talent, it was most likely not very useful. All right. At this moment, after baby ginseng completed its evolution and Shiyu completely accepted the blessing, the World Tree said, your other pets are also on the verge of breaking through, right? After leaving here, don't waste your cultivation. Cultivate more pets. Try to reach the God realm as soon as possible. If there are no other problems, I won't keep you. After blessing you, I've consumed too much energy. I might have to sleep for a period of time. I'll teleport you to Dong Huang's surroundings. At this point, the World Tree's voice became weaker and weaker. At the same time, spatial light enveloped Shi Yu and the others. Shi Yu was shocked. He still had many things to ask. Wait. Shi Yu was just about to say something when suddenly, in a flash, he, 11, and the others were teleported to the outside world. In the outside world, there was no longer Inatella Island in battle. He wanted to be a shit stirrer. He would bring Mother Dragon and Kai Tong to see General Mu Huiyin. He would go and show Emperor Wu the Chaos Panda and take some inscription metal for the fusion skill. Letting Susu PK Yunan and see if the Undying Dark Phoenix was Kai Tong's biological mother, and if the Empress was Kai Tong's sister made Shi Yu look forward to it too much. Cough, cough, cough. Of course, there was also the promise to the Dragon God to bring her to the Dragon Emperor era. Shi Yu would definitely fulfill his promise. Master Yuan Meng was talking about him. However, the mythical remnant soul that injured the Dragon Emperor sounded a little fierce. He couldn't even defeat a legendary beast tamer, so Shi Yu didn't plan to go too early. It was better to bring the Dragon God along to play after he could defeat a demigod. Otherwise, it would be sending himself to death. He planned to use the Totem War of the Emperor Wu era to level up first. After all, the Yun race sounded easy to fight and invincible. Chapter 997, 997 Contract and Awakening, 1. 997 Contract and Awakening, 1. Although there were many things he wanted to ask, in order to let Shi Yu rest well, President Lin didn't talk to Shi Yu much. Shi Yu was also happy to be free. Artilda? After Shi Yu hung up, he changed into his panda pajamas and found a bottle of kvass juice. He lay on the sofa feeling refreshed and pulled a pillow to close his eyes. But after lying down for a while, he stood up. Master, Little Z is awake. It wasn't that he didn't want to rest, but Ling suddenly called him. Coming, coming. Shi Yu directly crawled into the ruined space and entered the nursery. He looked at the white ball with clear eyes on the crib. The Son of the Stars was still wrapped in the purple nebula. As its lying posture was squeezed into a ball, it immediately floated up happily when it saw Ling and Shi Yu flying over. Am I hungry? Why are you eating and sleeping, sleeping and eating? Shi Yu stretched out his hand and let this guy land in his hand. He couldn't help but complain. Didn't he just eat the World Tree branch liquid? No wonder there were a large number of Sons of the Stars, but few survived. Am I so hungry? The Son of the Stars said pitifully. All right, all right, all right. Shi Yu smiled. What do you want? Space crystal? Or space strange water? Or continue to absorb starlight? Ling asked from the side. No matter how knowledgeable it was, he didn't have the slightest cultivation EXP of a Son of the Stars. I've asked the World Tree. Space crystals will do. Shi Yu said, however, for a baby, these aren't the best. The nutrients from the mother are still the best. Ling? Mother's milk? But wasn't the World Tree branch liquid already fed by him? Could it be that Shi Yu had asked the World Tree for another pile before it knew? There. Shi Yu stretched out his hand. A black contract halo immediately appeared in his palm. Seeing this, Little Z revealed a curious expression. Come here, then you won't be hungry soon. Ling. Ling wanted to palm its forehead, but unfortunately, it didn't have hands. It immediately knew what Shi Yu meant. The Beast Tamer's beast taming space had the effect of providing nutrition and growth substances to pets. As a level 7 legendary beast tamer blessed by the World Tree, if Shi Yu contracted a transcendent level Little Purple, it was completely enough to provide it with enough growth nutrients. Looks like my top-notch intelligence can't keep up with Master's train of thought. No, there's something wrong with Master. As Ling complained, the Son of the Stars quickly flew over and entered the contract halo. It was contracted by Shiyu almost without resistance and entered the beast-taming space. As for the 7th contract slot in the first beast-taming space, Shiyu thought for a moment and still gave it to Little Z. After all, its growth could better lead to his breakthrough. Level 8, Level 9. It should be faster. As for Little G and the others, they would wait for the opening of the second beast-taming space. Shiyu's beast-taming space was even more comfortable than the legendary ruin space. After entering, Little Purple was immediately obsessed. If it were an ordinary legend beast-tamer, the beast-taming space might not necessarily be as awesome and exciting as the legendary ruin space, but the problem was that Shiyu had been blessed by the World Tree. At this moment, the comfort of his beast-taming space was about to exceed the legendary ruins and the Blue Sea ruins. If it weren't for training, 11 and the others didn't even want to leave. However, when Little Z saw this bare beast-taming space, it felt a little desolate, forming a sharp difference from its body. "Are you still hungry?" Shiyu's voice sounded in Little Z's ears. "Am I eating?" But it didn't matter. As long as it could sleep comfortably and not be hungry, that was fine. Little Z immediately curled into a ball and rolled to a corner. It closed its eyes again with a satisfied expression and let its body automatically absorb the nutrients. Shiyu smiled and looked at Ling, speaking of which, I've reached level 7 now. I think I can also modify the beast-taming space. Yes, Ling said. So troublesome. Shiyu sighed. After beast-tamers reached level 7, they could develop the beast-taming space. Etherealization, sealing technique, and beast-taming space modification could be mastered at this stage. These 3 legendary skills were very important to beast-tamers. The spatial skill of etherealization could ensure the survival of beast-tamers in dangerous battles. As for the sealing technique, it could allow beast-tamers to suppress transcendent lives through the beast-taming space. Any legendary beast-tamer could restrict pets of the same level and suppress low-level pets alone as long as they were proficient in the sealing technique. The method Senior G Mengzu used to seal the Black Meteorite Yak and the Pirate King used to seal the Vortex Demon Beast were all sealing techniques. As for the modification of the beast-taming space, it was easier to understand. After the beast-tamer's beast-taming space reached level 7, it would also become a small world. It was actually no different from the Mystic Realm space and the Ruined space. Beast-tamers could use various natural treasures or beast-taming talents to modify the environment of the beast-taming space. They could transform it into an ocean environment, a forest environment, or a volcano environment. This environment was also enhanced for the habitat of pets. At the same time, the entire beast-taming space could also be fused into a large whole. At the low level, the pets contracted by beast-tamers were basically sleeping and half awake in the beast-taming space, as if they were lying in a nutritional cabin. Apart from the pets contracted by beast-tamers with telepathy talent, every contracted creature couldn't communicate. However, after the legend level, the beast-taming space of a legend beast-tamer could be like the ruined space, allowing all contracted pets to be in the same space. Moreover, in this space, the consciousness state of the pets would also be incomparably clear and they could communicate with each other. Chapter 998, 998 Contract and Awakening, 2. 998 Contract and Awakening, 2. However, because he had just broken through, Shiyu had yet to modify the space. Moreover, even after modification, 11 and the others couldn't train in the beast-taming space. That would destroy Shiyu's beast-taming space. It was no different from breaking free from the contract. It could directly take Shiyu's life. Of course, Shiyu felt that if it were a normal pet, just sleeping in the beast-taming space was much better than normal training and growth effects. Unfortunately, 11 and the others were abnormal. In addition, it was more efficient to add points. Shiyu said, moreover, Little Z's inner space has to be modified. Take your time. Shiyu sat down again and said, Ling, I'll sleep for a while. Call me when Teacher Ying returns. Okay. Shiyu slept in a daze and felt that he slept very soundly. A long time later. Meow. In the sky above the demon capital Sea, the gem cat was flying crazily in the direction of Ping Cheng. Boom! The aftermath of its flight caused monstrous waves, shocking the little fish and shrimps below. A moment later. Ping Cheng! A cat appeared outside Shi Yu's room. It looked around and kept knocking on the space. Shi Yu, I'm here. I want to evolve into a 9-colored meow. Why are you so fast? Shi Yu was called out by Ling with a splitting headache. He looked at the gem cat in front of him and didn't understand why it had rushed back from Inatella so quickly. He felt that he had not slept for long. Guess. The gem cat chuckled. No thanks. Take it. Shi Yu rubbed his temples and took out the inheritance crystal of the 9-colored divine light, preparing to throw it to the gem cat. Gem cat, oh. However, Shi Yu held the inheritance crystal and did not throw it out. The gem cat? Woo. The gem cat looked at the inheritance crystal eagerly. By the way, Shi Yu said, Teacher Cat, do me a favor. Tell me. The gem cat still looked at the inheritance crystal eagerly. I'll tell you when I've thought about it. The gem cat? The gem cat took the inheritance crystal and muttered, fine. It had already expected that this inheritance crystal was equivalent to a slave contract. So be it. As long as it didn't fight demigods, everything was fine. Then I'll absorb it. The gem cat took the inheritance crystal and immediately couldn't wait. As for Shi Yu, he also nodded heavily. He was curious about how far the gem cat's strength could reach after accepting the 9-colored divine light inheritance. If it was weak, it would stay in Donghuang and work for him. It would be in charge of helping train the various armies. If it was strong, he would pull it beside him and continue to be a bodyguard. After the gem cat entered the independent space and began to enter seclusion to absorb it, Shi Yu gradually woke up. Although he didn't sleep for long, with various supplements in his stomach, sleep was only to better absorb the medicinal effect. Shi Yu stretched and sat on the sofa. He was just about to watch television and see how the major media outlets were bragging about him when suddenly, the second beast-taming space loosened a little. Holy shit! Shi Yu was shocked and suddenly stood up. He didn't notice it just now, but now that he sensed it carefully, his first beast-taming space and second beast-taming space were automatically strengthening. It was as if he was meditating at all times. Although it was much lower than his own meditation efficiency, only 1%, it was automatic. Is this also the benefit of contracting the Son of the Stars? Shi Yu hurriedly sat down again. He sensed the loosening of the second beast-taming space. At this moment, he had also entered a meditative state. He wanted to immediately open up the second beast-taming space and know what the talent attached to this beast-taming space was. About 2 minutes later, the chaotic second beast-taming space formed a transparent spatial crystal wall. A level 1 beast-taming space that represented trainee beast-tamers slowly opened in Shi Yu's body. Shi Yu could sense that it and the first beast-taming space were independent of each other. They might not be able to fuse together in the short term. At this moment, this was not what Shi Yu was most concerned about. What concerned Shi Yu the most was... Boom! Shi Yu suddenly opened his eyes. He had really awakened a new beast-taming talent. However, Shi Yu did not expect this beast-taming talent no matter what. How can it be this talent? Shi Yu was stunned. He wouldn't be surprised if another telepathy talent attached to 2 beast-taming spaces. However, Shi Yu didn't expect that he had actually awakened the body control talent. That's right, it was the body control talent of Legend Baichuan of the 7 Islands. The one he plundered through the talent bead. At this moment, the talent bead was still in his hand. He had actually awakened the same talent for a moment. It was no wonder that Shi Yu was stunned. Is this because I've used the talent control bead too many times? If that's the case, fortunately, it didn't awaken this awakening talent. This talent is really useless. After all, Shi Yu had no intention of changing his profession to a full-time mechanic. Body control talent. Shi Yu's expression was complicated, but soon, he smiled in satisfaction. It was not a loss. It was better than some metal element strengthening talent and fire element strengthening talent. Although it was inferior to talents like time, spatial strengthening, and evolution, it was still a first-rate talent. Although he had a body control talent bead, it didn't affect him at all. The talent level plundered from the plundering tool depended on the talent level of the original beast tamer. After passing by, it couldn't grow. In other words, the physical control talent of the talent bead was equivalent to the development level of a level 7 beast tamer. However, Shiyu's own physical control talent could be raised to legendary and divine level as the second beast taming space leveled up. For Shiyu to better develop his body, spirit, soul, and mental strength next, this talent was more useful than most talents. Moreover, the physical control talent could also be used on pets. It could help pets better control their physical strength. Perhaps, it would be helpful to help little Z open up its inner world and help Ducky master the Abyss form. These were all high-level usage methods. Apart from that, the body control talent could also freely control oneself. For example, if Shiyu wanted to change his appearance and hair color, he didn't need the time fruit at all. When he developed his body control talent, he could become anything he wanted. He could even do a gender transformation. However, maintaining his new form required more physical strength. With the talent EXP of Legend by Chuan's life, Shiyu still knew this talent very well. It's another support talent like telepathy and the skill index. This might not be the best talent, but it should be the most suitable talent for me at the moment, Shiyu said. Very good, when he went abroad to have fun later, it would be easier to rely on his physical control talent to change his appearance. Moreover? Interesting. Shiyu activated the contract halo of the second beast taming space and the summoning array. He looked at the almost transparent summoning array in front of him and was directly amused. Wasn't this the formation phenomenon of a beast tamer in turn? The colors of the spatial crystal wall are also separated. This way, if I contract little g in the second space later and summon it, no one will think that I'm a legend beast tamer. Instead, they will think that I'm a low-level beast tamer. Coupled with my physical control talent, even in front of demigods, probably no one can recognize me as Shiyu. But these are all superficial. The most important thing is to quickly increase my battle power. The truth is to be able to fight a demigod head-on. After awakening his new talent, Shiyu felt that his current physical state was surprisingly good. He couldn't help but take out the eternal flower he had collected. This was a divine-level resource. Eat it and its lifespan would immediately increase by 10,000 years. Before its lifespan was exhausted, it would never decrepify and would always maintain its peak state. Shiyu took a deep breath. Without a word, he ate the divine-level resource himself. The world tree fruit that represented comprehension, the undying fruit that represented the soul. Now, in addition to the eternal flower that represented life, after eating it, Shiyu planned to immediately try the fusion of super skills. Chapter 999, 999 It's so exciting to pet the gem cat and run, 1. 999 It's so exciting to pet the gem cat and run, 1. Ping Cheng. In an inconspicuous villa. Shiyu swallowed the eternal flower in a few bites. At this moment, Shiyu felt that he was more valuable than a demigod. Even demigods weren't that extravagant with 3 divine-level resources. After eating the eternal flower, Shiyu immediately sensed the changes in his body. With the help of his body's control talent, he saw the eternal flower enter his body. It turned into white light and flowed to various parts of his body. This was because at this moment, every organ and drop of blood in Shiyu's body seemed to be enveloped in the light of evolution, undergoing a life transition. It wasn't very uncomfortable. Instead, it was very comfortable. Buzz. Under the watering of the life force, Shiyu's life aura rose steadily. The strengthening of the physique by the power of life was incomparably powerful. It was like a life furnace shaping eternity in Shiyu's body. In a short moment, Shiyu's vitality fluctuations directly exceeded the so-called demigod. Boom! Under the enhancement of 10,000 years of lifespan, tempting life source power flowed out of Shiyu's body. In an alternate space, the gem cat, who was receiving the inheritance, suddenly opened its eyes. What's going on? It subconsciously wiped its saliva, thinking that Shiyu had sent baby ginseng out to deliberately release its aura. Damn it! This was because at the critical moment of the inheritance, the gem cat ignored it too much and directly sealed the space even more, preventing Shiyu from disturbing it. At this moment, Shiyu could clearly sense his temptation. He had probably become like baby ginseng. He became a divine-level supplement. Although it wasn't as exaggerated as the Tang monk's meat that demons could eat and live forever, if any ferocious beast ate it, it shouldn't be a problem to extend its lifespan by 1,000 years. Woo! Fortunately, I have the talent of physical control and can restrain all power. Otherwise, there's no need for baby ginseng to fish at all in the future. I'll do it myself. Shiyu opened his eyes and clenched his fists as he said casually. Boom! A boom immediately appeared in his palm, as if the air had exploded. He smiled and felt that he was even stronger now. Awesome! If the 3 top-notch mythical resources were given to other transcendent lives, they could even spend some time to pile up a demigod. Although it didn't seem to increase much on him and he hadn't reached totem-level battle power, Shiyu was abnormally satisfied. This way, I can better deal with high-level battles. I don't have to worry about becoming a burden to my pet. Shiyu clenched his fists again. In beast-taming battles, beast-tamers with weak physiques were a very big weakness, especially in legendary battles. Even with etherealization, it was still not enough. However, Shiyu felt that his current state was just right. It was weaker than the contracted pets, but it wasn't much weaker either. It wouldn't become a target that the enemy could easily behead. It would also be easier for him to fight side by side with his pets. Most importantly, in this state, he felt that he could increase his points even more crazily. This was the key. After Shiyu completed his evolution, he came to the ruined space without a word. He directly pulled Buggy over. Buggy was speechless. Buggy shouted excitedly. It was here, it was here. Its turn, fusion. Space pocket, space shackles, instant transmission, concealment. Shiyu first dragged 4 high-level spatial skills into the furnace. The success rate of fusion was extremely high. This had never happened before. This couldn't help but make Shiyu even bolder as he threw space control in. The success rate was high. This scene simply touched Shiyu. After all, the success rate of fusing super skills previously had not reached medium. This time, it directly became high. Unfortunately, Shiyu tried a few more skills and discovered that the success rate of the fusion of the 2 super skills was still low and extremely low. However, a super skill with a low-level skill with pretty good compatibility had a high chance of success. Under Buggy's expectant gaze, Shiyu said, Buggy, I'll let you try fusing 3 skills first. Woo! Anything. Buggy looked excited and rushed forward. A moment later, Shiyu pulled the little green dragon and began the skill fusion. Bug Silk, Worm Command, Ultimate Absorption, had already fused into Queen Mother's Power. Skill, Queen Mother's Power. Introduction, it's a bug element super skill. It has obtained the power of Juggernaut and can control all life and non-life. Damn! Impressive! Buggy and Shiyu widened their eyes immediately. Buggy was shocked and almost thought that it had become a female. The power of a Queen Mother! It directly turned into a race skill and inherited most of the effects of the 3 bug-type skills. Not only could it rely on the parasitic thread to enslave and control other lives, but it could also rely on the power of the Juggernaut to extract the enemy's life and energy. This skill could also rely on a spirit connection, such as through the power of faith to better borrow the power of believers and citizens. In terms of the upper limit of the skill potential, it was much stronger than the 3 skills. Moreover, after Shiyu successfully fused a super skill for the first time, he suddenly realized that the ultimate absorption of the super skill that he had just fused had a deletion symbol that appeared on the skill index. This stunned Shiyu slightly. The super skill that participated in the fusion could be directly deleted from the skill index. Continue, continue. This time, he had only fused 3 skills. Although one of them was super, Shiyu didn't feel tired. It was purely because his current physique was too terrifying. Chapter 1000, 1000 It's so exciting to pet the gem cat and run, too. 1000 It's so exciting to pet the gem cat and run, too. Soon, Shiyu upheld the principle of proximity and fused buggies, space pocket, space shackles, instant transmission, concealment, and space control. However, in the end, what made Shiyu feel cheated was that he didn't know if it succeeded or failed. Buggy, woo! The fusion of these 5 skills still resulted in space control. The only change was the non-racial skill space control. Just like the power of the Queen Mother, it directly became Buggy's racial skill. It was this time that spatial control didn't appear in the skill column like the ultimate absorption. The mechanism was very strange. Shiyu and Buggy were stunned for a moment before ignoring it. After thinking about it, they felt that it was normal. After all, spatial control was the high-level skill of the 4 high-level spatial skills. Their effects could also be achieved by spatial control, so it was natural for the fusion to be covered. Woo! Shiyu, continue! Buggy was extremely excited. As 2 new super race skills were added, it felt that its various stats had been greatly improved. Its battle power was stronger. Defeating the leader and the baby ginseng was just around the corner. Continue, my ass. Shiyu looked at the greedy Buggy and said, I've already fused it for you twice. It's Susu and Ling's turn. Buggy, degree he, all right. Bring Susu here. Woo! Roger. Buggy directly flashed and left, its spatial control becoming more proficient. After experimenting with Buggy, Shiyu realized that the more ordinary the super skill, the easier it was to fuse with other skills. On the other hand, complicated multi-attribute rare skills like Buggy's Imagination Domain and the Dragon of Imagination had an extremely low fusion success rate. At the moment, Shiyu only fused skills with high success rate. It was mainly because his stamina consumption was low. It was always satisfying to fuse. Nink! Nink! Then, Susu was teleported over by Buggy with starry eyes. It jumped onto its blue jelly body and flew into Shiyu's arms. Susu had many skills. However, because it was still at the monarch level, the proficiency of the super race skill had yet to be perfect, so it couldn't be fused. The lowest threshold for proficiency in skill fusion was perfect level. If it was too low, it couldn't be fused. As for Susu's super non-racial skills, Heavenly Frost, Cold Energy and Infinite Devour, which had reached perfect proficiency, they were also skills that were almost impossible to successfully fuse. Therefore, he could only start with low-level skills. Shiyu smiled and pinched it in his hand, dragging it in one by one. He realized that the compatibility between the Time Water Droplet and other skills was the worst. Everything else was all right. It's starting. Nink. Yay. Bubble, Boiling Water, Frozen Water, Water Regeneration, Water Dragon Ball, Steam Explosion, Purification, Praying Rain, Blizzard had already fused into a water quasi-elemental control. Shiyu and Susu. Who? Both parties were stunned, but they quickly fell silent. There was nothing to say about this. It was a huge failure. The situation was probably similar to the spatial control time. The skill effect was covered by high-level skills. Water's quarter-elemental control was originally Susu's racial skill. This fusion made it lonely. However, with this fusion, the proficiency of this skill, Susu, became more and more difficult to suppress. It had already reached the limit of breaking through. This made Shiyu realize that he had to arrange for Susu and Ling to break through as soon as possible. But before that, Poison Resistance, Lightning Resistance, Star C, for symbol star formation, Absolute Sleep, had already fused into Starry Sky Power. Nink. On the other hand, the second time he gambled blindly, he directly bet a pretty good super skill for Shiyu and the others. Ayo, not bad, Shiyu said in surprise. Skill, Power of the Starry Sky. Introduction: it can mobilize the mysterious power in the starry sky and complete the strengthening of itself. Not only could this skill continue to summon resources in the starry sky, but it could also directly use the power of the starry sky to recover injuries and stamina. The increase in energy and the strengthening of various elemental resistance could be said to have not been fused for nothing. Most importantly, it had also become a race skill. Shiyu felt that this move could still be taught to Buggy. It should also have the compatibility to learn it. At this moment, Shiyu was immersed in the skill fusion and couldn't extricate himself. Although he had only fused low-level skills into super skills and had yet to fuse a divine skill, it had already made him very happy. However, the happiest at the moment was definitely not Shiyu, Buggy, Susu, and the others, but... boom! With a loud bang from the outside world, a huge aura enveloped the world. 9-colored rainbows could be seen in the sky above the entire Icefield City. Icefield City, including the Beast Tamer Association institutions in the surrounding cities, instantly detected energy fluctuations that exceeded the level of normal totems. They were all shocked as if they were facing a great enemy. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! In the ruined space, Shiyu also sensed the vibration of space and hurriedly ran out. He looked at the phenomenon in the sky and understood what was going on. In midair, a gem cat with 9-colored jade-like eyes gathered between the 9-colored divine light and emitted a powerful aura. It was simply stronger than most top-notch totems Shiyu had seen in Inatella. Oh no, in the sky, just like how Shiyu couldn't immediately control the aura after eating the divine-level resource and completing his evolution, the gem cat completed the inheritance and didn't immediately control the power, directly causing changes in the world.